I'm Dane, and this is Dan Explains. It's August 15th. If that date doesn't mean anything to you, it's hopefully because you're not Catholic. What makes August 15th special? It's the feast day of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. The occasion of Mary's Assumption was not recorded in the Bible. So, why do Catholics believe she was assumed into heaven? Let me explain why. Protestants generally don't believe in the validity of any event that occurred in the lives of Jesus and his followers during the New Testament times that doesn't have direct evidence to support it in the Bible. That's a part of the Protestant idea of Bible alone. I've already done videos on the subject, but where did the Bible come from? Even Martin Luther admitted it was the Catholic Church. That being said, Catholic theologians argue that there is actually evidence for Mary's Assumption in the Bible. Mary's whole person, body, and soul is depicted in the Bible in Revelation 12, and the story about the woman clothed with the sun. People argue that the woman in that passage is an allegory for the church, or maybe the nation of Israel, but not Mary, Jesus' mother. Well, that glazes over the fact that prophetic texts like Revelation often have layers of meanings. So, all three interpretations are accurate. Also, all the other characters in Revelation 12 are considered to be actual persons. Why would only one of them be totally allegorical? Also, keep in mind, the person who wrote the book of Revelation is the Apostle John, who would have almost certainly witnessed Mary's Assumption, since he was the one tasked with taking care of her. Even if you disregard the Church's theological take on Revelation 12, Catholics believe in both Scripture and tradition. The entity that is the Catholic Church today has existed going all the way back to 33 AD, when the disciples were writing the books that would become the New Testament portion of the Bible. They actually had no clue they were writing infallible Scripture, so they didn't necessarily see fit to literally write everything down, especially since barely anyone could read back then. So, to no surprise to anyone, they spread the word through, word of mouth. So many of the ideas and practices they passed on either never got written down, or if they did get written down, they were never included in the biblical canon. And yes, there are examples of this, like the document called the Didache, which was written even earlier than most of the New Testament, but not included, and describes the basics of how to perform various sacraments. So many ideas, like the Assumption of Mary, were always taken as a given in the Catholic Church. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, not so fast. The Catholic Church only defined it as a dogma in the 1800s. Well, that's true. The Church usually only bothers with defining something as a dogma once people start disputing its validity. For instance, it is generally believed that the Apostle John was assumed into heaven. What happened was passed down by the word of mouth, and none of it is in the Bible. Obviously, since John authored the last book of the Bible, it would have been difficult to squeak the story in of his own assumption in there. At any rate, John's assumption is not dogma, and Mary's is. Many ideas were taken for granted for over a millennia before the Church saw it necessary to define it as dogma. So, Catholics believe in the Assumption of Mary primarily because the event was passed down by Christians for almost 2,000 years. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.